and welcome to the Property Unleashed podcast with me, Mark Fitzgerald. And today I am excited because I'm welcoming back a good friend of mine, Guillaume Black, who is the CEO Director of Property Filter. Welcome back to the show, Guillaume. Great to have you on.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me again, Mark. Always a pleasure. Always put a smile on my face to listen to the podcast and even more to take part of it. So thanks again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Well, Guillaume was with me last August on episode 105. So if you want to find out a bit more about his background and his good self, and I'd say definitely go back and have a little listen to that, then please do. We're going to be touching more on what he's been doing over the last 12 months with his fantastic system that is Property Filter. I'll get him to explain a little bit about his past and then, of course, a little bit about Property Filter. And then we'll go more in depth as to what's been happening over the last 12 months, because the platform's always changing. It's always evolving. It's getting better and better all the time. And if you're not looking at this and you're not using this platform, then this episode will be a wealth of knowledge for you. And at the end of it as well, we are going to be having a webinar so that you can come and join us and just register. It's free. And we'll be on there live. We'll be looking for rent-to-rent deals, purchase lease options. You know, there's anything that we can look for. And if you want to come and join us live, you can come. You can put your postcode in of the areas that you want to invest. And Guillaume will go through and see what deals he can find in your area live in that session. So we'll talk about more at the end.
That's
but
right.
Now, sorry, mate.
I was going to say, come and put me on the spot, and I guarantee I'll find deals for you. There's plenty for everybody on the platform. Yeah.
Well, that's it. There's more deals out there you can shake a stick at. And now is a great time to be out there looking for property deals, whether you're doing, rent-to-rent HMOs, serviced accommodations, you want to do title splitting, purchase lease options, you want to flip. Honestly, the market is there for the taking right here, right now, and to do it in the right manner and make it a win-win for everybody. But I'm getting ahead of myself, as I normally do. So, Guillaume, can you just tell the listeners who maybe haven't heard of you or met you before a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm a French dude. So by the end of this, hopefully I'll be your favorite Frenchman. Usually happens like that. Before property, I used to build and repair bridges around the world. So I sort of moved 14 times in 10 years in 8 different countries before I moved to UK in 2016. Then worked for another 5 years for some construction company repairing bridges in the country. But always had a passion for property. I'm a very concrete and practical guy. So I like to have control over, like the return I get over something, and I see in property you can add value. You can have a very predictable outcome because you buy at the right price and you know what you're doing when you add value. So I really like this compared to like picking stocks or crypto or stuff like that. So I find very, very, you have a lot of control and make it very predictable. And really the penny dropped for me when I realized about interest-only mortgages and refinancing, like all this kind of stuff you don't have in France. So that was quite good. And I realized I could use the same pot of money across multiple deals. And then so we went on, got some education, and went on to start to do single-lets and HMO. I have to say, I spent the first 18 months really struggling, to get, the traction, finding the deals. And I find it's a struggle for everybody. And then we created Property Filter for ourselves. At the time, there was no Property Filter. It was Le software, like some ugly, clunky thing only I could use. And fast forward the following 18 months, after 18 months of achieving very little, I was, the following 18 months, I was full-time in property, replaced my income, portfolio of HMOs, I bought refurb my way and bought refurb refinance my way out of the day job. And I'm now full-time in property since 3 years now, 3 years. And then people were asking, how come, and so, well, we've got this little kit here we're using. We don't really want to show you. And then people insisted, and we started to share it with friends of friends, people in our network. And before we knew it, people were giving lots of feedback and give it a lot of love. And we've just been going all in with it now, adding a lot to it. And fast forward now, we coming up to is a bit more than 800 people on the platform, and I get phone calls every week, if not every day, from people finding deals. So I think the top 3 performers, like we have on the platform, between the 3 of them, they found and sold, they found and bought and completed on 100 deals, in the last 12 months. So it's been quite rewarding to see like, oh wow, like there's the deals I can find myself with it, but then if I multiply it and I give it to other people, basically, it's just millions and millions of value you can create. So it's become a passion of mine now to see and be part of people's success, and from with a very, very simple framework people can follow. So it's been great to see people come on the platform, and within weeks, like incredible deals. Some guy starting out coming to us and say, I've got this 22 property portfolio, I'm speaking to that landlord here. So how do I? So then we refer them to people who can help them negotiate, because there's too many deals, so they can't close them all, or we refer them to people who can help them buy, and so on, because the people who follow the platform, follow the framework, they do really, really well. So yeah, it's great to see.
It is awesome, man, and it's always evolving. It's always changing. It's always getting better. There's always new features. But I think it is a fantastic tool for anybody who's starting out in property, anybody who's looking for property deals, because you can spend so much time. And don't get me wrong, even I do still like to have a little look through Rightmove just for old time's sake, reminiscing and things like that. But you don't have to. We've all got busy schedules. We've all got busy lives. But it is a tool. And Property Filter is a tool that will go out and use the algorithms. We'll check all the platforms, and we'll just spit back to you potential opportunities for you to have a little look at of your criteria of what you're looking for. And then all you have to do is either ring the agents or get hold of the vendors or do a little due diligence to make sure that the numbers are going to stack before you go out there and spend your time looking at, doing viewings. And as a property investor, before obviously I started using Property Filter and things, I would spend a lot of time on the portals. I would also get members of my team to data scrape. We would then be looking at things, making phone calls, inquiring, maybe finding out a bit more information that potentially then would lead to a dead end, and you start again. This gets rid of all of that. And I have to say, it's one of the most cost-effective tools that I've seen. If you think about property investing, and obviously yourself, Guillaume, is worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, potentially even millions of pounds. So to be able to use a tool like this to just make it easy for you is an absolute no-brainer. But I have to also say 100 deals in 12 months is truly amazing. So if people are getting out there doing a bit of deal sourcing, because let's face it, you're probably not going to be able to do all the deals that you find. This is a great system to be using to find those deals, to then be able to sell them on to investors and things. And is that what those guys have been doing?
Yeah. The ones who do like there's one guy who did 31 deals in 10 months, another one 15 in 6 months. They buy some of them for themselves, but in the main, like 2/3 or more, they sell on. And it's how they find, I've got a cash machine that they make cash from selling, passing on the deals. And they buy with the money they make from the sourcing. And what's interesting is that, we think like the different strategies for starting out, like there's rent to rent and things like that. But really, people get into property, ultimately, they want to build their portfolio. And this, Alex Hormozi speaks about skill stacking, what is it you need to learn to be where you want to be, And sourcing and finding deals is the number one skill. It's the number one problem everybody has, and then it's the number one skill you want to develop. If you want to go really far, and you can do really, really well in property if you excel at finding deals. And the thing with those guys who are actually doing a bit of sourcing on the side, and that's they build their portfolio, and they have like proper business going on with the sourcing now, which is systematized with Property Filter, is that they not only build this skill of finding deals, but they build this network. So as an investor, if you're going to buy 1 or 2 deals a year from random agents, in a city, chances are, you might buy from the same agent every 5 years, maybe, if you continue like that. But when you're sourcing, 3-4 deals a month, you might buy 3-4 deals a year from the same agent, and you just make it to their little black book within a few months, and they only want to sell to you. And then it just compounds, like the success, because once you bought 1-2 from one agent, and you always ask the right question, I say, hey, you see, next time you see anything like that, come and let me know. And they're lazy, they see they'll have a difficult property to sell. Why would they go and list it? And then go through the pain of having 15 weeks of viewings, and they know that it's not going to work. Whereas it's a perfect one for you to go and buy, get the deal done, get the commission. Everybody is happy. But you'll only get these deals, by building this rapport, and by completing successfully, buying deals, from them. So the most successful people we see in property, they don't look for deals. Deals are brought to them all the time. And so how fast can you be in this position where people bring you deals, and people mainly being agents or people on the ground, so it's just accelerating this, putting you in this place where deals come to you. So yeah, there's so many ways this works.
Well, everybody always says, a lot of people say, I want to be a deal sourcer when starting out, because obviously they look at it as a way to get started, which is fine and great, but we're all deal sourcers. If you're involved in property, you're looking for deals. So, like you say, to build up that know, like, and trust with the agents. And of course, the way the market is right now, where it's in a lot, it's still quite hot where I am, I'll be quite honest with you. But, looking across the country and things, it's starting to level off. There's more going back onto the market because interest rates are being difficult. So there's also more opportunities to get a little bit more creative with the vendors or the agents as well, isn't there?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, the market's gone really good on us. I think the timing is great. So after years and years of chasing agents and they never had time for you, the phone's ringing now because you put an offer, like 18 months ago. Say, you still buy, So yeah, we've seen it happen throughout the year, but now it's completely shifted, and we see more and more opportunities now that we can take direct to vendor as well. Because the mass market can't help, and they're a bit fed up. Once the sale has fallen through twice, they are a lot more keen. The vendors are a lot more keen to go and work with you direct. And sadly it works for the agents because they have to overprice it to get the instruction. So when someone goes and ask for a valuation, they get they go on the likes of Zoopla and Rightmove. They are they work as lead magnets for the agents. I think people don't realize, but as a vendor, you go on this and you ask for a valuation, and then what you get is like 3-4 agents come to your house, value your house, and then they are just outbidding each other to get the instructions because they feel the heat now. I've had agents calling me. I think it was already beginning of the year. They were making redundancies, saying, "Oh, I used to speak with John. Where's John? Oh, we had to let John go. You're speaking with the director now. We're operating a business, So they really feel the heat, So they need to find those instructions. They need to make these sales, and when the sales fallen through a couple of times, usually the vendors they go somewhere else, So they can't really afford to have it happen more. So the thing is, some agents, they will only have seen the last 3-4 years, because they are quite new and green to the game, and they'll still be cocky, because it's all they knew, they'll try to close you and say, surely you can offer a bit more than that. Say no, no, this is a cheeky offer. I said no, this is the only. I know this is the only offer you're getting, So there's a bit of that where some agents think they are still, summer 2021, everything flying off the shelves, but in the main, they feel the heat, So it's only a matter of time and for them to realize and get the proper advice from more senior people in their team or organization. Say, look, guys, we've got to make sales now, So it's been quite interesting. Lots and lots of stories, from. Obviously, I hear a lot of stuff from our Property Filter member. I've got Phil and Tim, so they are in North Manchester, and they did. I think they found. He called me actually last week because he found another deal. But in June, when I went to see them, they were on their 6th deal in 5 months, and we went on site and visited their project. And he was telling me about this agent, who was trying to push the price, and Phil was like, all right, so I'll withdraw my offer. And the agent was like, fine, and hung up on him, And then 2 days later, he called him back. He said, so, that offer, that I told you was insulting, is it still okay to So things are changing. So we're laughing because it's very it's a bit of a joke, really, but yeah, the market has completely changed. Like there's nowhere near the demand there was previously. A lot of landlords who didn't incorporate, they now really feel the heat with the interest rates. So there's so much opportunities right now, and yeah, you can find. It's all about finding the vendors where they are. Most properties, most vendors will be on the market. So there's a bit of a myth, that I had to go through this myself. So when I first started, I used to either waste my time scrolling through the portals, randomly booking viewings based on the pictures, the layout, and just turning up at viewings where the vendors were not motivated, because it was just listed, and they're just a bit cocky because they think they can get a good price, and at the time they could, and then I thought, all right, so this doesn't work, on market doesn't work, so I'll go direct to vendor. And the thing is, we all want direct to vendor deals, but we all do direct to owner marketing. So after spending I think it was more in 5-6 months, spending between 300 to 500 pounds a month in direct mail, because all the educators, they say, hey, send letters, and stuff. But what they don't tell you is that it costs quite a bit of money, and then you need to manage the campaigns and stuff. And so there's all the untold cost of that. And so I was between those two things, where I was wasting my time on the portals or wasting my money on direct to vendor that didn't work. And I took a bit of a step back. Why is it that the letter I send, I get very, very poor responses? And in the best case, I find someone vendors, but not, how do I find the motivated sellers, the motivated vendors? And then I look at the math, and this is where, for a podcast, you'll have to be a bit visual. So there's 33 million addresses. There are 33 million properties in the UK. Out of these 33, 1 million change hands every year. But of this 1 million transaction, only 23% are suitable investment properties. So that's 230,000 investment properties that change hands every year in a pool of 33 million properties altogether. So if I randomly send out letters, the chance of me finding a seller, someone that might sell their house in the next 12 months, is 230,000 divided by 33 million. That's 0.7%. So I'll say that again. If you randomly send out letters, or leaflets, without it being targeted, you've got 0.7% chance of finding someone that might sell in the next 12 months. So and none of them are motivated. They're not motivated. They're just sellers. So there's no surprise. Like the initial tactics I used, when I first started, just didn't yield the results. So so now we help people go straight to the motivated sellers, on market or off market. So we pull, match and merge everything that's anywhere on any portal. It's the equivalent of having all the portals together in one place on Property Filter. And then we track insights of motivation when things are fallen through, came back on the market, reduced, all of that multiple times, for sale as well as to rent, listed with multiple agents, for sale for less than what they last sold, and quite a few indicators like this. And then the system kind of scores, like your most motivated sellers, and then it's called Property Filter, like not Property Finder. So you filter out the noise, you go straight to those motivated sellers, and then you've got two schools of thought. So you can go fast and pull the addresses that the system give you and then send out letters. And you can go fast, direct to vendor, one-off. Or you can go further and then you work with the agents and you build this. You build yourself this reputation of solving property problems in your area, and then you make it to their little black book. And then within 6 months, they just send you more deals than you can eat. So that's how the system kind of works and what we allow people to do. And we're now integrating this into a lot of the education courses. And so we did something. So since 1 year, so we work with PIN, Simon, buying Property Filter for all his masterminders, a few other educators, like Kevin Wright and stuff, and quite a few actually. And then recently we did a sourcing course with Saj Hussain, and it was incredible. Like he gave people guarantees. Come on my course, and if you don't get a deal, I'll give your money back. Everybody got a deal, and some incredible deals, like. So we have it's where I really had a feel for like the market has really changed, because these guys were going direct to vendor a lot, and typical deal will be on the market for 250, reduced at 220 after 6 months, many reductions, and then closed in the room at 170. Like I've never heard things like that, for at least 3 years. And this is one of like 7 deals they closed, in the room. So it's quite a lot of these coming back now. So yeah, that's kind of like all this works, and it's really interesting with the agents. There's so much deals that are not listed yet, and it's you could have property is a people business, and there's so much you can do with having a couple of good agent friends who just want to make it done, so yeah, that works really well.
No, I mean, that's brilliant. I think, when it comes to marketing and everything, it is a different game when you're looking for motivated sellers, because, they are a bit of a needle in a haystack. Most people who put their properties on initially to sell aren't motivated. So, it's difficult to find, the selective people that have put their property just on because they need to get a quick sale, unless, you're quite fortunate and you keep finding those people. But of course, the agents know as well, don't they? So the agents are more inclined to reach out to you if they know you're serious and just say, hang on a minute, we've got something come on. It's not even hit the portals yet. Do you want to have a look at this? Because, it might fit your criteria.
Yeah, these are the best deals. Yeah, best deals. But you're exactly right. I know I talked about, the vendors going on, getting a valuation. They get 4 or 5, agents outbidding each other's. And the agents, ask them, they'll tell you, the valuers will tell you, I have no choice. My competitors do it. We need to overprice to get the instruction, otherwise we don't. And if we can speak sense to a vendor, great. But a lot of the time they're just on a bit of a cloud, because it's the best house in the world, for every vendor, because it's where you've got your kids' birthday memories. This is where you've got your festival memories. This is the best house in the world. You've lived there for 15 years. And and then the agents come and knock on the door to value your property, and it's one against the other. So your expectation as a vendor is super high. No matter what's happening on the news, wow, if all these agents are saying that, it must be great. And then most investors, they've became, I think because of the last couple of years, it's been quite hard to find deals. They've become addicted to the Rightmove alerts, and guess what? You get stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of emails in your inbox of people who are probably the opposite of motivated, because they've just put their house on the market. So everybody then rush. It just confirms the fallacy. So I've got really high expectations, and then on day one of putting the property on the market, I had 20 viewings. Wow. So most of the deals are not there. They are when the sales fallen through a couple of times. They are when the vendors experience, because when you sell a house for the first time, they get offer accepted. They've already spent the money in their head. This is it. They don't realize it's another 3 months, before things happen, and then they don't realize that most people can get their mortgage. So it just falls through, and then it's like, oh wow, but I've already spent the money, in my head, So, and then you do this twice. They spend the legal fees, and then at the end of it, they just want it done, They just want certainty, So this old world, this old word, about speed and certainty, which nobody cared about in the last couple of years, is back now, because there's not the demand there used to be, and for those people that really need to sell, the market was quite forgiving, if you think last summer, because anything would fly off the shelves anyway. And so if you needed to sell, or if you could sit on it for a while, anything would sell anyway. And now, right now, because the demand has dropped like crazy, if you really need to sell, like you need to make a deal, pretty quick, So it's how do you get straight to these, So with the software, what people do is they, as you said about gaining, saving time and things like that, but what this really means is people will do 10 times fewer viewings. They'll stop missing out on deals, because they'll get 10 times the results. So the opportunity cost of going to a viewing where the vendor is not motivated means that you're not viewing the ones that actually matter, and then during that time there's someone else who does, and puts the offer and gets it done. So it's really how it works is it being highly targeted, so that you only speak with the most motivated sellers, in the area. And then it's a blueprint, so it's built on big data, and there's a lot of information, and it does a lot of due diligence and comparables and things like that, automatically for you. You can stack your deals with deal calculators, etc. But really, the big thing is it's the blueprint that is layered over the data, because the data is great and nice and fun, but it will only give you an average performance of an area. But property is a people business, So, and the way you buy above performing assets is by buying at the right price from people. So the property market is full of I always forget the term, of irrational actors, and so it's not. People look at property average price, and it makes me laugh all the time, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is the average price of your area or another area. You want to buy the outlier, you want to buy the anomaly in the data. You want to be and the way you do this is by connecting with people, creating the opportunity, and closing the deal from the motivated seller. So that's kind of how it works. It's the blueprint and methodology, the step-by-step action and result-driven framework that gets you from wherever you are to getting an endless supply of deals.
Well, I love the dashboard feature as well, because obviously you're looking at your prices. You can see whether it's gone up, whether it's gone down, how long it's been on the market for, whether it's been sold subject to contract, it's come off. And you can look at that in a snapshot of realistically about 10, 15 seconds to know whether or not this is something I need to pursue, or let's bear with this and let's just keep an eye on it, sort of thing. And it's those snapshots that just mean that you can get through so many different deal opportunities that otherwise you'd be wasting your time on. And I like what you were saying about, agents come and they outprice each other, because they do. Yeah. It's funny, when they come to sell properties, they outprice each other. And then when they're actually looking after or going to look after a landlord's property, and you've got a letting agent on the other hand of things, then they try and be the cheapest. So one thing they're trying to offer you the highest and everything. The other time they're trying to offer you the cheapest. And obviously from their business perspectives, that's not a great model to be in, is it? In any shape of imagination. But of course, it just gives us opportunities to be able to go out there.
Very, bless them. It's very, very competitive. So because of the demand is so low, they really don't have a choice. So it's really hard. Like they don't, like, if you think like they don't get paid much. these people. And it's a very big commission-based job, mm-hmm. but the salaries, you'd be surprised. Like they have like either they are on 0-hour contracts or like 10 grand, like 10 grand a year, and then all the rest is commission. There's got to be ways you can help these people, do better in their job and lives, and win-win. They are like.
Well, that's what we always go out. We always want to make sure that any deal that we do, we're not ripping anybody off. It is a win-win for all parties, the landlords, the vendors, the agents, and us, of course. Because if we do that, we don't get buyer's remorse. People don't tend to back out because they're happy with what's happening. If anybody's got doubts and they think that they're getting ripped off, then, and it does take, as you were saying, Guillaume, it does take a while for the process to go through when you're buying properties. And 3 months down the line, somebody just says, I've had enough. It's been playing on their mind. They pull out, and that's how deals fall over. So you've got to make sure at the beginning that it is a win-win for everybody. But let's just, because there's a lot that's changed. And I know you won't be able to say everything that's changed in Property Filter over the last near enough 12 months since we last spoke about it. But every time I go on there seems to be a tweak and things. And one of the big things actually that helps me with, so to speak, my rent to rents and stuff has been the Article 4. The areas that you've been adding, so you can easily now, again, with the snapshot, see where areas are Article 4. Of course, it's a bit more in depth now when it comes to looking for, properties that are for sale and for rent at the same time. I know you always had that before, but now you've got a bit of a rent to rent sort of function as well. So do you just want to tell us a bit more about those things that are coming in? Or are in?
So I apologize in advance. This has got to be the most frustrating podcast, because we're talking about very visual stuff, and you can't see it. You can't see it. So I'm really sorry. And then also we can't really. There's no way we can go through everything in this as well. But So basically, what people are very surprised when they join, because when you subscribe to some kind of software, you expect basically, you get a CD and that's it, like it's kind of done, and we are aggressively adding to it all the time. So with the most customer-centered, product development team on board. So basically, it's built by the community. So people give us some feedback, ask questions, and things like that. I speak to the community every week. People speak to us in the chat and support, send suggestions every day, and it's just the sum of all these things that informs our roadmap. And I'd like it to go 10 times faster than it is, but I'm told it's quite fast already to like tech standards. But we are quite aggressively adding to it all the time. And so things like Article 4. So we're a bit crazy, like we are a bit nuts, like I had someone in the team go and download every Article 4 map from 228 council websites. And then these are like PDFs with little red, like red marked maps, And then I had someone else sit on the computer and digitalize all of them, draw the little polygons. And it's how we build the overlays on the map tool. And this mapping tool is one of the things we're putting quite a lot of money, at the end of this year as well. So it's the only place where you can say, you can use this as a filter to say, show me properties show me like existing HMOs inside Article 4 area, and you can find these. And some of our members do really, really great. Like Justin, what he does, he looks for 4, 5, 6 bed HMOs inside Article 4 areas, and he adds value by refurbishing, increasing the rent, and adding a bedroom or 2 bedroom or 3 bedrooms, with or without planning. And he uses the grandfather's right of the building to being an HMO as a precedent to just and it's just a cookie cutter, so using this feature. And equally, a lot of the deals I've done, so they are just outside the Article 4 area in Birmingham. So I've got one, literally the garden touches the Article 4 area. So you look for these, like show me the three bed plus properties that are, that are 100 square meter plus, that are, outside the Article 4 area. And then you find these that are in good streets, just a block away from the Article 4 area. And then just you get really good deals like this for HMOs. Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's excellent. And of course, it's little things like that are always added that make the difference, because it's like we always say in the early mover, if you're on the ball, if you're looking for these things, then you can tap into this before it goes mainstream and everybody else starts thinking and looking at the same sort of things. But
yeah, you're right about the early mover advantage. So like, if you think like the success or early member have had is just crazy, and part is because there's no other people looking at it. So we know that there will be a point where people will start to step on each other's shoes, and this is where we're going to change the price structure. So today you can go everywhere in the country, do as many search as you want, to look at as many motivated sellers as you want for as many categories, etc. But as we grow and we move from being 1,000 people on the platform to 3,000 people on the platform to 5,000 people on the platform, we'll have to change things. So this is where we're going to chop off the features, and for people who join in the future. So anybody right now, we give them grandfather's right, basically. So we just guarantee that we'll upgrade them to the best stuff all the time. But people who come in the future, they'll have just a portion of what people have right now, and to get what the people who join right now, for example, to get what they would get, in a few months' time, they'll have to pay like twice more, or there's going to be a mechanism basically so that people don't send the same letter to the same house, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really good time to jump on board now, because you're still part of this early adopter. So it depends when people listen to this recording, but it might be too late, So yeah.
Well, that's it. That's why early movers, you've got to be in it to win it, and everything I always like to say. And I also like the fact that we sort of have cross members as well. Obviously, property isn't the biggest, in the world, so to speak. The communities are quite small and things, but to see, guys like Kelvin who are doing and finding great HMO deals and things. Of course, Kelvin, his first foray into a bit of training was with my good self, with the Rent to Rent Business Builder. He's gone on now, he's doing his HMOs, and he's doing high-end co-living, which is always a joy to see. And I'm always watching what others are doing as well. But it is really satisfying to see people getting out there, using systems, using training, and building, the lives that they desire.
Yeah, Kevin's done really well. So I think he found his first deal on Property Filter like within like 2 weeks, something stupid like that. Yeah, he's done really well. Obviously, he had some good foundations. I understand.
Well, there you go. See, there you go. So, I mean, what we're saying basically is, and if you're listening to this or you're watching on YouTube or whatever, but it's fundamentally the podcast. That is why on, next week, actually, July 24th, which is Monday night, myself and Guillaume are getting together, and we're going to do a live webinar session where he will run you through and show you visually by screen sharing and stuff exactly the sort of deals that you can find. I love doing these sessions. I've done a few sessions like this with him in the past. We did one recently with our serviced accommodation community, and it is great because it gives you the opportunity to come on here with him to tell him what you're looking for, and he will in front of you show you exactly how you can find the deals in your area, what is there, and point things out to you. And of course, there's no better training than to be able to see it done in front of you live, with a demonstration there. And we have good fun, don't we?
Yeah. It's always, so people try to break it every time, but I somehow manage to find what they're looking for. So it's always nice and fun to do. Yeah.
So I'm going to put a link in the show note, and if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, you will get a link through or the opportunity to register your position as well there. And that is going to be, as I say, on Monday, the 24th of July, 2023, depending on where you're listening to this. So you will have the chance to come and register for that. It's completely free. And of course, if you decide then that Property Filter is something that you want to try, then we'll have a little offer on you being able to get in there and try it out for free. As Guillaume says, get in there, see if you can break it, or find some deals. Actually, is a better option than trying to break the thing.
I mean, you can find some deals in weeks. Like it works really, really well. So so it'd be quite good fun actually. So usually when I do these things, the next step is there's never anything to sell. So this works so well, and I believe it works so well. So the best way to prove it to you is we give you like a free trial, and I think with Mark we've got a special deal for you to have something quite cool, and then usually the serious people tend to stay because they just get tractions, and it works out really well for them. So it's all we grow by the results of our members basically. So people come and do really well from it and tend to stay for the long term.
Well, that's it. And there's so many different ways that you can earn money or revenue or cash flow or profits through property. So even if you're sat there now, you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, do you know what, that's great. I just need to find some deals to get the cash flow in, to start to be able to look and go out there and build my own portfolio. Well, the thing is, and the reason I love Property Filter and I use it as well is because I can't do every deal. And some deals I don't want to do because they're not in line with my strategy. But you know what? If I come across a good deal, having a connection, having a community, and being able to say to somebody, I've come across a really good deal here. Anybody interested in this lead? And of course, you can always sell these leads on to other people. Yes, they might be on Property Filter, they might not be, but you can sell leads on, you can package them up, you can do a bit of deal sourcing, but you don't necessarily have to rely on it. So you could still think, well, I'm going to do a strategy here where I get the cash flow coming in for myself, but any excess deals, maybe package those up, maybe even work with people who package them up and just have a little fee from it. So there's lots of different avenues. Sometimes we can get so caught in like a rabbit in headlights that we're so narrow-mindedness, so to speak, that we're just thinking that it's only that. But of course, there are opportunities out there that you can look at. And I can even look at properties and things and think, do you know what? I could title split that. I could just buy that straight away, title split it and sell it on, or potentially rent them out as single units, break it all down. There's loads of different things you can do. But of course, if you're out there just focusing on Rightmove, looking at a couple of little tabs, whereas Property Filter, you can put in for purchase lease options, you can put in for rent to rent, you can put in for flips. You can have all these different tabs and you can just click on it and say, right, are these any decent flips here, any decent purchase lease option opportunities or anything like that? And that is the beauty of it. It's segregating it all and making life easy for yourself. Would you not say?
Yeah, it's that's right. I would add to that, Mark, that it's more about finding the people who own the house, the motivated sellers, than the strategy. Or yes, we have filters for every strategy and things like that. But then for you to maximize the results, go in it with an open mind, because once you start discussing with these people, it's like, oh wow, so maybe like an assisted sale is actually, would be the best thing. So it doesn't really stack as a buy to let. I can't really sell it to anyone because he'll never will. But it's in a bit of a state. But I think if I put 10 grand in it, I can probably get a 30, 40K uplift, and then I'll do a bit of a deal with them where we share the value. And we see more and more of our members do things like that, where they don't own the property, but they get a share of the uplift. Other things that we've seen is sourcing agents or the sourcers actually making money 3 times on the same deal. So they get a sourcing fee, they'll then get a project management fee, and then they'll get another sourcing fee because they'll pass it on to like as a rent-to-rent opportunity to someone, or things where again sourcing fee, project management, and then they'll do the lettings, or they'll refer it to an agent and they'll get a fee, for bringing a lead or something like that. So there's so many ways, you can monetize some, people have got it in their head, like 2.5 grand, 3 grand per deal, what I'm sourcing. But most of the people I know doing well, they make well in the 6 figures for every deal and opportunity. So imagine you do one a month, of these, obviously you need to do the work, you need to do project management, you need to do all the work, but this is where you can really create a business that cash flows really well, that gives you more money that you can spend, with a reasonable lifestyle, and then the excess you buy property, So it just works. We see this work really, really well for people, and it's quite humbling to be part of, take a small share in this journey, basically. So it's quite cool to work with people like that.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. You're a little young and not too happy.
Yeah, no, sorry, but Mrs. Black is taking care. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Family's what it's all about. So I'm conscious of your time. So like I say, there'll be links in the show notes to do that. You'll also, if you're a part of the newsletter, we will send it out to you. And I will also put it on the propertyunleashed.com. We will have a link on there. So you'll see a Guillaume's smiley face with a date, which is Monday. And if you click on that, you can just register your place for this free webinar and come along and join us and see what Property Filter is all about. Even if you've seen it in the past and maybe you've thought about it, but not, then come and have another little look, because as I say, we're not there to try and sell to you or anything like that. We're just going to show you the platform, the process. We've got a little special deal, but you don't have to take us up on that, and you can come and enjoy a good evening with us. Now, before you go, Guillaume, I've asked you questions and stuff like that in the past, so I'm not going to go through all of that again, but I am always interested in what people are reading. So over the last 12 months, what interesting books? Can you name 3 good books that you've read?
Yeah, so Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martin. It really gave me the framework to hire and in which sequence. So that was really, really good. And I've really became a sucker for Alex Hermosi stuff. So he's got his 100 million offer, of course. And he's got his new book coming in August. And I'm well into listening to his stuff. I find it's quite brilliant. So yeah, that's mainly I've cut down on a lot of content consumption, I think when you start out, you watch a lot of YouTube, you listen to a lot of podcasts and things like that. But then over time, it's like, okay, so now it's time to execute. But I'd say I like to read, and that's probably these 2 books that I've read in the last, the 100 million offer I would have read on the back of last year. But on the books that really, I've read a lot of books, but not that I would recommend, or not that I would be happy enough. The Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martin was very good, and then and the only content I look at is Alex Hermosi stuff. Yeah.
Cool. That's brilliant. And we've always got mantras. So what's your latest mantra?
So for me, we've really studied success, in property for a decade now, and property is a people business and it's a numbers game. Like the biggest lesson learned from anything is that property is a people business. You make money from buying from people, people that need to sell. You make money when agents bring you deals. It's a people business, And we're a big data company, and I could sit behind the data and tell you, the data don't lie, follow the data, blah, blah, blah. But it's a lie. Anybody that's trying to sell you a crystal ball with data and stuff, they don't understand that it's the property market is full of irrational people. So it really is a people business. I can give you, and the whole idea of Property Filter is to go straight to the motivated sellers. It's connect you with the people where you can create an opportunity and close the deal, ultimately. So that's the big lesson. And then it's a numbers game. It's like volume, it's volume. People tell me, oh, no, there's no deals out there, nothing stacks. All right, I see. So how many viewings have you done in the last week? Oh, well, so you have to create your own opportunities. And I find that like success in property is very, very predictable. If you engage, if you go and have conversations, you get deals. And then the deals are in the follow-up. If you look at your computer and you look at oh, well, they want 260 for it and I can only get 800 grand for it, it doesn't stack. So nothing stacks, like there's no deals out there that stack at asking price, and there's no deals that ever were made at asking price. So it's a people business and it's a numbers game. And it's a numbers game because you need to go, we will help you, like target the most motivated sellers, the most motivated, vendors in your area. You got to go and speak with them, and we'll give you a list of 10, 15, then you can have different criteria in different places. You'll have 50, 100, as many as you want, but then you need to go and start the conversations. And when you do, surprise, surprise, it's like, it just compounds. And we find a lot of the people struggle with that because we have to take people out of the procrastinations they've built for themselves. They are in this like research, admin, procrastination loop. So because they used to not getting around finding anything, and they've built this habit of just looking at Rightmove and stuff and copy pasting stuff in spreadsheets, and they're just compliantly busy, and there's a lot we do to take people out of the building and say, all right, let's go and have a conversation there. Go and have, most people have got time to do 5-10 viewings a week. So you just go, and the thing is, because when people start, they're all guns blazing. They've been on not to name any educators, but they've been on a very exciting course, and then there's this anticlimax where, well, there's no deals out there, nothing stacks, So they lose this momentum of doing 5-10 viewings a week, and then they're stuck in front of their computer. And so we now have to make an effort, have to push people to make a bit of an effort, say, hey, look, it's not like it used to be. You just can focus on those most motivated seller leads and just have conversation with these, put offers, follow up on everything, and it just works out very well. So, yeah, as a mantra, I would say property is a people business and it's a numbers game, and this is what it sort of means, to me.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. And I couldn't agree more. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to build a successful property business, you can't hide behind the data, which is exactly what you just said there. You have to go out, you have to shake hands, you have to speak to people, you have to see what the problem is, because like you say, the data will tell you so much, but you then need to speak to the people and see what their emotions are telling them, because it may be completely different to the data. And then, of course, you need to see how you can make a deal. So that is a great bit of advice. I love that. Thank you very much, my friend. Again, get yourself registered on. If this is passed, then go and what's the best way they can reach out to you and find out more about Property Filter?
Yeah, you can come on the website. So look for property-filter.co.uk, and then in there we'll probably update the website by the time you watch this. I don't know, but in there's ways you can reach out to us, and it's probably the easiest. And then you can watch a demo or get yourself signed up. And the cool thing is that as a member, we speak every week, so people don't really realize, they expect, I've signed up for a software, and then computer says this, and then there's nobody behind the chatbot, and so you speak with me every week, so because we are actively building it based on your feedback, so you've got plenty of opportunities to speak with me as a member. So yeah, once you are signed up, come and speak with us, on the other side.
That's it. And it's been great actually to watch, because I remember, when I first sort of met you and we became friends and things, I was watching Property Filter, all of a sudden being released, being built. It was taking time. It's been a fantastic rise to watch and to be a part of as well. And of course, it's people like Guillaume that I trust in the property world. They're doing a superb job, which is why I like to get people back on the podcast that are genuine people that are out there to help and support others, because that's fundamentally what we're all about as well. It's about helping others, just giving them that support. Let's all go out there. Let's all grow our property businesses together and live the lives that we want to live. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up, my friend?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks for having me. And opportunities are out there for the ones who take it. There's plenty of deals.
Yep, absolutely excellent. So July 24th, 7 p.m., register your place. Come and join us for the Property Filter webinar, where we're going to be looking for live deals, and it'll be great fun. Equally to that, if you're listening to this afterwards, do go and check out Property Filter at the website and let them know I've come to see you, Guillaume, because I heard you on the Property Unleashed. And what goes around comes around in life. So it's just good karma at the end of the day. So once again, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I have enjoyed it. Thank you to Guillaume for coming on. I'm going to check out some of those books as well as some of the other recommendations. And I hope to see a lot of you on our live webinar. If anybody has any questions, any problems, then do feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at hello@thepropertyunleashed.com. Ask us any questions. If you need any help and support on your property investing journey, we are here to help you. So without further ado, let's let you all carry on and enjoy your day. Or, of course, if you're binge listening or watching this, I'll see you in the next video or the next podcast. You take care and bye for now.
See you. Thanks so much, Mark.